Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Brooke Morgan. I work at the University of Houston, Victoria. I'm here today to talk to y'all about my favorite aspect of the enrollment process, which is making the most of your campus visits. Right now, we're living in a world that's kind of shut down a little bit. So all of the connections that we're making with our institutions of higher education are happening virtually. So through our phones or through computers, but eventually the world will open back up again, which means that campuses are going to open back up, and we can't wait to have you as a prospective student back on our campuses. But it's nice that we get to take this moment to pause and kind of maximize our efforts whenever it does come time to start traveling and stuff again. So we're going to jump straight in. We've already established that campus visits take effort. You have to drive to your institution. You have to buy gas in order for that to happen. You got to spend time on that campus. You have to drive back. You might even stay in a hotel at some point in the there and back. So it's a lot. And what are you going to gain by giving all of that? So one of the first things that you gain from a campus visit is a sense of campus culture. You can get a really good snapshot of what is available to you as a student through a website, but it's a much different experience whenever you get to submerge yourself by walking through campus, meeting those people, and just seeing what it's like to be a student there, because that's really what campus visits should do. It should give you an idea of what it's like to be a student there. The next thing that you should gain from a campus visit is just practical knowledge. Again, you can find application deadlines and things like that on the website, but going to a campus, visiting, sometimes you can get stuff done while you're on your campus visit, missing items list if you've already applied to an institution. But if not, you should be able to get in your car and start driving back home and know, like, okay, by this time I need to have this, this, and this stuff. It's just practical information. And campus visits can be the catalyst to get things done. It can be like okay, that was exciting, I'm ready to do this. The last thing that you should gain from a campus visit is, I guess, kind of woo-woo, but it's, in my opinion, the most valuable, and it's that feeling. So you, as a prospective student, you might have a dream school. You might want to go to the school that every member of your family has gone, so you'd be a legacy, and the wallpaper in your bedroom is just pennants and newspapers about that school, and some people sing happy birthday to themselves on their birthdays, but you sing the alma mater to your dream school on your, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what love connection you have to what institution, but if you feel that way about a school, you have to go on a campus visit, because you're going to fall so much more in love. I hope that you fall so much more in love with a school that you're already in love with, because you can walk through campus and you can see the cute trees and you can see all the smiling faces, and you can feel yourself say to yourself, this is it. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place. And that feeling, why would you not want that? Like, why wouldn't you want to experience that feeling? So go do it. Now, on the opposite end of things, there's that feeling of like, oh gosh, I thought this was so right, but now that I'm here, something feels off. Or, oh gosh, this program isn't what I thought it was going to be. Or, oh, I was really excited to see this, but now that I'm here, I see it's more like that. So that feeling kind of goes in both directions, and they both have value. If you are in love with a school and you fall more in love with your school from your campus visit, awesome. And if you are in love with a school and your campus visit makes you fall out of love with that school, like, oh my God, aren't you so glad that you went on that campus tour? So just remember that there's a lot to be gained by putting forth your effort. There are a few different types of campus tours, and I'm going to blow through this really quickly because it's kind of common sense. The type of tours that you're going to see the most of are group tours, and they're exactly like what you think. It's groups of prospective families visiting an institution all at one time. Schools are really good about not making people feel like cattle, about making you feel loved and encouraged and cared for and attended to. So group tours are not the short end of the stick. They work for a reason. I can't tell you how many times a student has met their future lab partner or their future roommate or just a future friend by going on a group tour. So definitely good benefits to seeing things as a group. Another type of tour would be one-on-one tours, which again are exactly what it sounds like. If you have a list of schools that you're pretty sure you're going to apply to, try to do a one-on-one tour if possible at your top like 2 or 3 choices. One-on-one tours are usually pretty similar to group tours in that the geographical things that you will see on a campus will be very similar, but there's a little bit more opportunity to personalize your experience. So what major that you're interested in, if you have financial aid questions, if you have questions about scholarships, those sorts of things can be addressed on a one-on-one tour on a case-by-case basis. I always encourage students to also look into one-on-one-ish tours. So bring a friend, bring someone who's not just your parents on your tour with you, because they have their own perspective, they know you, and they know it's important to you, and they also know what you will like. So it's nice to just have somebody that you can be yourself with who's in your age bracket, because it just changes the entire environment of a tour. Another type of tour would be self-guided tours. So they're not super popular now, but I think the way all of this stuff is happening, they'll probably become way more popular. And me, myself, as an introvert, self-guided tours are a dream. So they're exactly, again, what they sound like. You can go online, and a lot of schools have virtual renderings of their campuses or video options of their campuses to where you can navigate and click the arrows like you're on Google Maps, but it's a university campus. And this is a really good way if your dream school's across the country, like this might be it for you. This might be the closest thing to an actual tour. Other technology-based tours are a little bit more techy, where you get to physically travel to a campus, and then your cell phone or another electronic device will maximize cell tech or location services technology, so that as you walk through campus, your phone or whatever is telling you like, hey, the building to your right houses all of our arts and sciences programs. And if you continue straight, the building to your left is historically significant because this thing happened there that one time. So self-guided tours can be really cool. It's a good way to add a tour or see schools in a more passive way. And the last type of tour are my favorite. They're preview days. You'll also hear them advertised as open houses. They're typically on weekends, so families more often than not are able to attend preview days just because of their work schedules. So they're big events, like lots and lots of people typically attend preview days. But they're important to me for a different reason. So you as a prospective student, your primary contact for an institution is in all likelihood an admissions professional or a recruitment professional. That's awesome. We love building our relationship with that student. But once you are actually at the school and you've been admitted and you're enrolled and you're in the sauce, like it's really not admissions that you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. It's faculty members, it's student life staff. So preview days bring all of that together so that you can form those relationships and see those options before you really make your decision. We touched a little bit about campus culture at the beginning of this presentation. Preview days can be a really good picture of campus culture because, again, it's faculty and staff working together. A healthy campus culture should feel synergistic. It should feel collaborative. It should feel welcoming and accommodating. It should feel adaptive. So preview days, when a university or a college's campus culture is healthy, it usually manifests as a really good preview day. So just something to keep in mind. Now that we know what types of tours we might be going on, it's just time to pull out the calendar, get your list of schools, and start penciling in some days that you think you might be ready to travel. The whole point of a campus visit is really for you to get an accurate snapshot about what it's like to be a student there. So you got to go when the students are there, right? And so when you think about it and you think about a student schedule, they're on campus Monday through Thursday. They're also campus earlier in the semester. They're also more engaged earlier in the semester versus later. So you're looking at late summer to early September, October for optimal tour time. It's also good to go really before any form of commitment is needed on your behalf. So whether that's a financial deposit to keep your seat in the class, whether it's attending an admitted student day, whether it's like you accepting any form of financial aid, if your institution requires you to commit, then it's good to visit before that commitment deadline. The only other thing about scheduling is if you have this list of schools that you know you're going to apply to, they're all priority. It's good practice. Tours are really like anything else. The first time you do it, you're probably not that great at it. So don't go to your top choice school as your first tour ever. Go to your second or your third or your fourth choice school, or go with a friend who's going to their top choice school and see how that tour is set up. Again, like anything else, the first time we do something, we're not that great at it. So we don't know what questions to ask. We don't know what office we're supposed to report to, so on and so forth. Sometimes you go on a visit and it's not a school that you're necessarily interested in, but there's one aspect of the university, there's one aspect of the student life that you find really appealing, so that whenever you are on your tour at your top choice school, you kind of are primed to know what to ask. Lastly, as far as scheduling goes, is just overall timeliness. Preview days and one-on-one tours, anything catered to the student experience, they're usually very scheduled things, very regimented things. So you being 10, 20, 30 minutes late can kind of throw the show off a little bit, if I'm being honest. So definitely show up on time for whatever you're scheduled to be at. But also be honest with yourself whenever you're setting these appointments. If you're looking at a school that's 2 hours away and you're going to schedule an 8 a.m. tour, that means you're leaving your house at like 5:30 in the morning in order to make sure that you get there on time. You really want to wake up at 5, drive 2 hours to a city you've maybe never been to, and then walk around for an hour and a half and engage in conversation? Like, maybe, but like maybe not. I always ask my students, if you are considering scheduling a visit, just come when you're ready. Come when you want to be here, because that's best for everybody. So once you have scheduled your tours, once you've made your drive, once you are on campus and you're checked in and you're walking through the quad, these are the things that you want to keep your eyes open for. The number one thing is program diversity. In all likelihood, when you registered for your tour, you declared or you stated what you think you might be interested in studying once you're a student there. And so maybe that will factor into your campus tour experience, maybe it won't. But definitely ask your student ambassador or ask your faculty advisor, if you meet with them, what other programs are available. The reality of the situation is that the average college student changes their major 3 times. So while you may know what you want to do right now, you're also probably going to change your mind. So going to a school that has more than one program that you can see yourself studying is definitely good practice. Most tours also have a classroom component to them. A lot of schools, like, it's just walking through a classroom so that prospective students can see where current students are doing the learning, which is in the classroom, so you want to know what that looks like. Class size and what is ideal for every student and their learning style is very, very different. I'll go with the traditional example with this just because I think it's the easiest one. So imagine like auditorium style seating, university lecture hall, 1,600, 2,000 seats in this building. There is a student who walks into that space and automatically feels overwhelmed, who thinks, how is this teacher going to see my hand when it's raised? Am I even gonna know any of these people? Like, what is this? Like, I wanna go back to high school where I only have 30, 40 seats in my class. Like, good news to that student. You don't have to go to an auditorium style class. Like, you can pick a school that's smaller in enrollment numbers, because typically speaking, small enrollment means smaller class sizes. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, there are tons of students who walk into that auditorium lecture hall and they see the 1,600 seats and they think to themselves, wow, like there's 1,600 people who are all in the same boat, who are all thinking the same thing, who all have this one class in common. Like, that's high energy. That's good vibrations. Like, I want to be a part of that. Same situation, same location, completely different perspectives. So knowing who you are and what your learning style as a student can be very, very difficult to figure out. But in all likelihood, you know what spaces you feel comfortable in. So as you walk through classrooms, if you feel safe, cool. Other things that you really want to keep your eyes open for are the different student services available on campus. Your tour guide is going to tell you every single thing on campus that is free to do. The reality of it is that you are paying for those things, you just don't realize it. So your tuition and fees goes to all of the things that make the university run. And so tuition is basically your academics, but the fees are all the student services. The student services enhance student life, they enhance student success. They're very, very, very essential to the college experience, but they're not required like academics are. So as you go through your campus visits, it's nice to know what your fees are actually going towards and how you can use them. The last thing that I would say you really need to keep your eyes open for is a sneaky, sneaky trick, and that's bulletin boards and newspapers that are on campus. So the reality of it is, y'all, if you're on a tour, like whether it's a one-on-one tour, a group tour, a preview day, it's a sales experience. Like, you are being sold this university. It is all that is good and right at this institution being presented to you, which is a lot, which is a very good thing. Not to say that any particular representative or any particular institution is being dishonest. That's really not what we are doing. It's, we love our schools and we want to show you all the things that we love about it. And that's truly what it is. Bulletin boards and newspapers just aren't the same thing. They're for current students. They're typically written and made by current students. So when you kind of step back a little bit, a preview day or a campus tour is all that is good and right. And a newspaper is what a current student thinks another current student should know. So you as a prospective student might find a lot of value in that information. So just something to be mindful of. The last thing I really want to touch on is just maximizing that effort, maximizing that trip. You want to be efficient with your time. So let's say you're going to campus A and they've got a preview day on Saturday and you're already registered and you want to go. So now you're like on Google Maps and you're making your route, and right before you get to College A's town, you see that College B has Friday tours. And why not? You're driving past anyways. You've already got your hotel booked. So you just leave 2 hours early. And now you get to see 2 schools instead of 1. Or maybe on the way back. You see what I mean. 1 trip, 2 schools, maybe even more. Other universities, they might be kind of like clustered. So like University 1, you have morning tour availabilities, and then University 2 has afternoon tour availabilities. So you could, in reality, hit both in the same day. Universities that are on the same interstate systems, that are geographically close to one another, they're honestly really used to accommodating students who are hoping to maximize their trip. So coordinating tours and stacking visits is definitely the way to go. It's good practice. Now, if you have time, it's nice to make your campus visit a full trip. So spending the weekend or spending an extra day just getting to know the city or the town can really be beneficial. You as a Houston area student, you probably have a set routine. You probably have places in your neighborhood or places in the city that you love to go to. And the idea of losing those things, moving away to college, can make you really sad. So if your favorite thing to do on the weekend is like pick up soccer at Herman Park and tacos after, I hope that you have the opportunity to go and visit schools whose cities and towns have the same park systems, have, I don't know if y'all gonna find the same tacos anywhere else, but you see what I mean. The change is coming, the shift is coming for a lot of you, but don't ever, ever, ever feel that you have to sacrifice the things that you really, really love. A school that fits you and that is good for you is going to have those things also. Um, but that is basically it, y'all. If you have any questions about the enrollment process, good practices, and being a guest on campuses, just shoot me an email, and y'all have an awesome day.